Hey everyone, it's Randy. Today, Darby Burns returns to the show. Darby was the first guest to appear when the podcast got rebooted nearly a year ago. Today, he's running for Nevada Assembly District 4. We talk about that and a whole lot more in this episode. Before we get to that, I wanted to say a quick message about the Nevada LP. The Nevada LP wants to preserve and expand what the founding fathers called inalienable rights, among which are life, liberty, and property. Meet friendly, like minded people at LP Nevada events, volunteer, run for office, or donate to Nevada LP and help take a stand for freedom. For more information, go to lpnevada.org. Once again, that's lpnevada.org. Okay, let's get to the show.
Hey.
And it's the Battleborn Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Sadak. With me, as always, is Adam Heyman. And today we have the triumphant return of Darby Lee Burns. Hey, Darby.
How you doing, brother?
Good, good. Now you're running for office. So why don't you talk about your campaign and what office you're running for?
Yes, sir. I'm running for Nevada State Assembly District 4. Uh, it's a legislative position in the lower house, uh, just a lawmaking position. We're trying to get in. I'm really blown away by what the Libertarian Party's done so far this campaign season. Uh, but I think we have 24 or 26 candidates in Nevada on the ballot. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm just one of them. Uh, we've got amazing people like Mindy Robinson, who you guys have a great podcast with. We have Josiah LaRoe,
Yeah.
who you guys have a great podcast with. Have you guys spoken to Brandon Mills yet?
No, he's scheduled. Oh, not scheduled, but we've been talking and he's agreed to come
Okay.
on.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
I'm
Brandon's
looking forward
Brandon's
to
great.
that.
He'll definitely be on. Love that guy.
100%. No, it's awesome. Really, what I'm focused on, because my race unique, looks uniquely winnable for the Libertarian Party. Uh, what I want to focus on is getting into office so that we can work with the House majority to get more freedom for people in Nevada. No matter what the flavor of freedom is, that's going to be dependent on who the House majority is. But no matter who the House majority is, no matter who governor is, we just want to get more freedom for people living in Nevada. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
sounds like you're talking about issue-based coalitions, depending on which group of creeps is in charge and who
One
what
thousand percent.
what their least bad aspects are.
1,000%. So if it's Democrats in power, we're gonna want to get a lot of people out of prison for things they shouldn't be in prison for. And if it's Republicans in power, we're gonna want to keep a lot of money in people's pockets. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Keep guns in people's hands and whatnot.
I got to imagine both sides are amenable to some sort of a school choice argument. Maybe the Republicans more than the Democrats, but I can't imagine either party's really thrilled with the crappy school system we've got.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I'm not sure what their proposed solutions are for it. I don't really
Oh, I can tell you. The Democrat says, just give us more money and that will fix
yeah,
it. And the
yeah.
Republican says, well, you just elect me and gosh darn it, I'll make sure our system works better. And nothing will change.
Oh god. No, it's so bizarre. I don't know.
Well, it's a strange world politically because even in the Republican Party, there is an insurgency. I mean, like Mindy, she's running but she was a Trump MAGA girl, and she kind of got sick of it. I just like the establishment Republicans didn't really support her. but she's
Yes.
massively popular.
Yes. Yeah, there are a whole bunch of different flavors of people in both political parties. It's interesting to see because there are the sides of both parties that relate to us very heavily, and I appreciate them so much. Uh, Even if they don't recognize where they relate to us or that they do, I appreciate it. So like I love me a socialist, man. I'm telling you. I love me some fucking like some guy who's just sitting there reading Karl Marx for the past 15 years. I at least they distrust our current way of doing things and they're looking for answers.
And they're interested in ideas.
Yeah.
Hell, you used to be a socialist. I'd much rather be talk to a socialist, especially a young one, than someone who just thinks that Hillary Clinton is great and Mitch McConnell is great, and we just need more of that. You know,
Yeah.
we got no hope with the establishment crony bastards and people that support them.
Yo, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I just saw what Hillary Clinton looked like when she was younger. She looked great. Like Hillary Clinton looked awesome. It's like Betty White. Y'all seen what Betty White looked like when she was younger?
I'll give you Betty, but we don't have purity tests here in the Libertarian Party, but we might have to bounce you for that Hillary shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what picture you were looking at.
Yeah, I need to make sure. I want to look this up and make sure, but I don't want to like pause my camera feed or something.
There's I remember there were pictures when she was involved in some before she got into public office, and she was working like as a staffer sort of for some congressman or senator or whatever it is, and she was a granola hippie liberal.
That's what it looked like, yeah.
Yeah, she didn't look like, because when they give her the makeover when she gets to public office, I mean they changed they changed her.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna give you that makeover too in a couple of months here, Darby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. Oh God.
Can you talk about why your particular campaign, or why your race in here in Nevada is unique? Your particular, because you had mentioned specifically your
Yes,
race.
sir. So, up here in District 4, which is in Centennial Hills, uh, not entirely Centennial Hills. I guess it stretches a little bit out of it, but basically Centennial Hills area up in the northwest of Las Vegas, stretching from decently far in town all the way to the desert. Uh, we have a purple district. It's 50.5% Republican voter, 49.5% Democrat voter. And there is no Democrat running in the race for State Assembly District 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's me versus a Republican in a head-to-head race on the ballot this general election coming up in November, and the Democrats have nobody to vote for that will represent them, who's any better than me. They have no one.
Yeah,
And
that's a
to say
great
that,
opportunity.
neither do the Republicans, because this guy does not represent them at all. I was the one who was out there with these Republicans smashing down on the strip with signs and megaphones, yelling, trying to get their rights back. That was me getting my ass beat in the Cosmopolitan when I never saw what this guy looked like. That was me. You know what I mean? So
What is your opponent, this Republican? How would you characterize him or her? I don't even know who it
I
is.
think looking at his name is Richard MacArthur. I would say just looking at his voter record uh, during his time in legislature, He's a pretty milquetoast Republican. Doesn't vote too bad from a Republican perspective, but he has one giant fuck up, and it's way too big of a fuck up, in my opinion. And I bet probably a bunch of people will agree. You could have impeached Governor Sisolak, using your power as a state legislature when he shut down the state economy. You could have filed an articles of impeachment against Governor Sisolak. You didn't do that for whatever reason. Our friend Alex Rodriguez from Recall Sisolak, great guy, he spoke to these people in person at one of their social events. Said, why didn't you file an articles of impeachment against Governor Sisolak? And they said, oh, well, it wouldn't have passed anyway. We didn't have the energy to impeach him in the House.
That's weak.
And exactly, because Alex and Mindy and everybody else who's standing there fed up, they're looking at them like, yeah, well, at least we would have known what Republicans represent us. But now we know that none of you do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
If you're not complaining and complaining loudly, then you're complicit. You support it. And by the way, this is a fundamental problem with Republicans. They are big government statists too. They just didn't have an opinion on whether this particular emergency was justified. Justified the things that Sisolak did. But if in their mind it was that bad, the virus, they would have fully embraced the government doing whatever the hell they wanted to, treating us like China or Canada or Australia or anybody else. They're statists too, and they hate the citizenry too. They just didn't know the science.
They put the masks on their faces first. They just hate the other people who started telling them to do it. That's all it is.
100%. And they believe in one size fits all solutions. I mean, it's in their worldview. Libertarians don't think like that, but Democrats and Republicans, they both do. We need the challenge.
It's been interesting. It's been so beautiful meeting all these people from our community and getting to speak with them, mostly Republicans. Over the past year, mostly I've met a whole bunch of Republicans. They are fed up. They are tired. They see things that are wrong, but it's these government schools, like how we're trained not to look past the government for an answer to our problems, right? The government's going to be the answer. We need to fix the government to get a better solution. And by fix it, they mean we need more laws. We need more taxes so that we can get more spending. Like all of these things, they don't look past these answers and say, let's just stop oppression. Let's make things better by just limiting oppression. We can even keep giving people shit right now. Let's keep giving people free stuff and let's stop oppression. Boom, just cut net spending and got some freedom. You know what I mean? Like, people can keep money in their pockets and we can get less oppression.
Well, I think you're on the right track, and we can save a bunch of money, at the state level if we, I don't know, ended the drug war. That wastes a whole bunch of police resources, prison resources. There's a bunch of money we could save. Oh, and here's another thing we kind of waste money on, a system that doesn't work. Our crappy school system in this state. Sort of national embarrassment. Why don't we just, even if we still keep taxing the money and giving it, we steal it from the citizenry, then we dole it back out. And we could still do that, at least on a voucher program that lets parents choose and lets the market compete for satisfying the needs of families and kids. And then you'll have plenty of money. You can slowly wean people off of entitlement programs. That was Ron Paul's idea. I thought it's a great one.
Especially as we start affecting laws, affecting change in our local community here in Nevada, so that we can do things like get the power grid demonopolized. You know what I mean? We want you to be able to put solar panels on your own home, and we want you to actually own the energy that's produced by those solar panels. We don't want some state force with a gun to be able to say, no, sir, you will sell it back to me at 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Wham! As they hit you over the head with the stick, right? They're like, say thank you. say thank you for this rebate. You only owe us $8 this month.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
it's
great point.
crazy.
I don't know if I mean, the reason that exists is corruption. Obviously, there are people that get rich off the system the way it is. And it's tough to root that out of a government structure, even if we do get a bunch of our people in the legislature. But, maybe we're just going to innovate our way out of this problem. I mean, if batteries eventually get as good as looks like they're going to get, maybe we don't need a goddamn grid, you know? Especially here, and it's pretty sunny here. We can store a whole lot of energy.
Yes, sir.
Now, you said there is a Democratic, a sizable Democratic Party population in the district that you're running for. What are you going to do to try and appeal to them?
Well, as a libertarian, uh,
Hmm.
there are several things that are within our logical, rational, ideological framework that just happen to appeal naturally to Republicans, and some things that appeal naturally to Democrats that just are libertarian in nature. You know what I mean? So when it
Hmm.
comes to appealing to uh, the Democrat voter base in my neighborhood, I would love to look at these people and say, "Hey, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of happening? Are you afraid that Roe v. Wade's going to get overturned and then Nevada's going to ban abortion? Because I'm not going to vote to ban abortion. I'm not going to vote to use the government to come in and throw women in cages or anything. So if that's a concern you have, I'm your boy." But likewise to the Republican voters, because I understand the delicate nature of that specific question. To the Republican voters, I still say I represent you more than this guy, who I'm sure he would vote pro-life, but at the same time, he'll shut the fuck up while your governor locks you in your homes and lets your kids kill themselves. He'll just be real quiet while all that's happening. And I wouldn't. If you're able to impeach Governor Sisolak, Governor Lombardo, because of something that they're doing, man, I would press that button as many times as I'm able to press that button. Let's keep him clogged up in the court system. Let's keep him not able to do his job, because fuck those people.
Yeah, amen, brother. There were people that tried to pass legislation during the lockdown period. They never got out of committee because they're way in the minority. But there's more you could do. Like you said, you could initiate impeachment procedures, or you could just stand on the courthouse or the Capitol steps and just shout, just embarrass these guys every single day. Shout that it ain't right. I don't know about you, but I didn't hear a peep. I heard 6 feet of separation, and oh golly, I'm sorry, your job just got made illegal and your business is ruined. Oops. I mean, if you if you thought that was an egregious violation of people's liberties, you should have been real vocal about it. I didn't hear
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, it was crazy. I remember the first protest I ever went to out here in Las Vegas. There was 30 people there. The last one we did, there were thousands.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, people are fed up and people are getting hurt, and people are fed up of getting hurt by their fucking government. It's especially like with what we were talking about, having gone through this system of government education. uh, I'm expecting these to be the people that are here to help me.
Yeah.
I'm expecting this unemployment check to sustain me because you said we couldn't work.
Well, yeah, but it's okay, Darby, because you're non-essential. So
Yeah,
you probably don't even eat food, right? I mean, the hell.
yeah, yeah. I felt that. I felt that. So did 50,000 other people in Nevada. Felt that super hard as they started living in their cars, started flooding under freeway overpasses,
By
and
the
going
way,
into.
I do think there's a large Democratic contingent that agrees that, that the overreach was massive and unjust, and I don't think they're going to turn a blind eye to you. You know, even though they're Democrats like Sisolak is. And also on the vaccine issue, I mean, there's a lot of Democrats who think my body, my choice, and don't actually think that we should we should be propping up big pharma by forcing every citizen to get a medical injection. I mean, that they used to be completely antithetical to the left. I don't know what the hell happened in the last 15 years, but I
Yeah,
still think there's enough old Democrats that you can tell that story, you know, and as earnest and obviously passionate about it and forthright as you are, I think you'll attract some people.
I
And in 2022, you can't tell me that aren't segments of both the left and the right who think maybe, just freaking maybe, the government's gotten a little bit too big. We could maybe dial it back a little.
I even like I like the portions that think that we haven't gotten big enough. I appreciate it so much because it's the energy, man. Like they see that there's a problem. I'm just telling you, hit them with the bigger stick. It'll work next time. Like they'll stay in their houses.
It's
Weld them
true.
into their houses.
It's
Don't
true.
let them leave.
We
I
just didn't lock them down hard enough.
Man, at
It's
least
never enough. You didn't mask hard enough. You didn't lock down hard enough.
you didn't carpet bomb Yemen hard enough. You didn't sell
Yeah,
the Saudis enough airplanes for $1.
that's
You
right.
didn't do it. You didn't do it enough.
You didn't inflate the money enough.
I mean,
Hey, hey, hey,
that was
Putin
why
did
the
that. That's a Putin price hike, bro. Come on, bro.
that's why in the Soviet Union it was essential to keep sending people to the gulags, even though they knew they were sending loyal communists. The point is, if you've promised that your system is going to produce utopia and it hasn't, then there have to be enemies of the state sabotaging the system. So you better find them, even if they're not, and just ship bodies to the gulag so you can say, "Well, we're almost done. We've almost got these enemies of the people taken care of."
Isn't that insane, huh?
I mean, it makes
That's
perfect
insane.
sense. It's just massively destructive of humanity.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you can't let those communists get a hold of power, even though arguably they probably hold like the major institutions in this country.
I don't, I'm
But
not sure. I'm not sure. I think it's actually so diverse. I think that there are so many people, that there are so many different flavors of these things, where some communists are the bad communists, but some
Mhm.
aren't. So Solzhenitsyn in the Gulag Archipelago, he's talking about how the communists, the actual communists, living on communes in the 1800s in Russia. He was saying how the level of efficiency their communism achieved was miles beyond what the statist communism was able to achieve. Because
Yeah.
the problem is the state. The problem is not these ideologies or these economic or political philosophies. The problem is oppressing them onto free people, right?
Yeah.
Like saying fuck you, get oppressed, live your life like this. This
Yeah,
is
that's
what's
the key.
best.
The key is compulsion. Obviously, people can gather together voluntarily and run their lives any way they want. It'll work just fine. You just can't force it on people.
Yes. I don't like how often I see in the libertarian movement people just openly talking mad shit about communists, just continuously, like the throw a commie out a helicopter meme. I get it. I get what's happening, and I understand what portion of communism you're talking about, but it's not obvious. You have to know some of the nuances to be able to even recognize, oh, they aren't even necessarily talking about all communists, because they aren't saying it. They're saying it as if they're talking about every single one. And it's like, man, what if I want to be a communist? I still
Well,
believe every
would
single thing
would
that I
that
believed. You're like, well, we could wrap this up.
I'm gonna start the chopper.
100%.
I mean, the issue here is the more complex our ideas become, the easier it is for us to be lazy with our verbiage. So yeah, of course, these people are talking about the authoritarian communists who shoot people in the heads with eyeglasses and start cultural revolutions in China and throw people in gulags in the Soviet Union. But I hear you. We should be a little less sloppy with our language for sure.
Yeah, because we may as well. It would be much better to say, throw authoritarians out of helicopters,
Yeah.
because you just described all the fascists too, and they're like, they
Yeah.
they don't like each other. So
Well, the problem, Darby, and you're in the music scene, so you should know this. Authoritarian has too many syllables. Commie has two. It flows off the throw a commie from a chopper. I mean, you hear me, right? Can't make that work with authoritarian. Come
yeah, maybe we start calling them auths. AUTH.
on.
Call them auths.
Auths. Get rid of the
Yes.
auths.
Oh god.
All
I
right,
like tots. I like
we'll work on the
tots.
branding. There
Call
you
them all
go.
tots. Totalitarians. Tots. It works.
I could catch on.
I can see people tossing
Tossing tots.
authoritarians of
Hey,
toss, tossing tossing authoritarians of any stripe out of the helicopter.
oh yeah. Hell
Well,
yeah.
we just found your campaign slogan.
There you go.
Because they are inherently predatory by nature. Their ideology is All right, we gotta get on to a different. uh, yeah. So here in Nevada, I feel like it's very important that we work towards developing our issue coalitions and building our issue coalitions, getting friends in the community who don't think how we think, but they agree with us on one thing. They agree with us up to a certain point, and we work together up to that point. You know what I mean? We
Yep.
get as many people together as we can to fight for change, step by step.
Yeah, I think that's critical. It's weird though. It's harder in today's world than it would have been. I think this is true. But I think in the past it was easier to do issue coalitions because you didn't just hate everybody on site.
Yeah, I was
Now
gonna
we've
say
become
people hate each other less.
yeah, we become so polarized. Once you disagree with somebody on one issue, it's like, well, I can't even be seen in public with that person, let alone stand with them and advocate for something we do agree upon. That
Well,
just
there
seems
are
nuts.
some. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't a Trump supporter anymore when I started going to the protests that were all Trump supporter based, right?
Yeah,
Like I heard Scott Horton say that gem. He said, if you took George H.W. Bush all the way through to Joe Biden, and you lined them up next to each other and you gave them fair trials for their crimes against humanity, they would all be hanged right next to one another. That's Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden, because of their crimes against humanity that they've done in the Middle East, in Yemen, in Africa. Just these disgusting war campaigns that have been going on for decades and just causing millions of deaths. That when Scott Horton said that, he hung that and it's full weight on Donald Trump's neck, just like it's on Bush's neck, and it's on Obama's neck, and I mean, fucking,
It is. It is.
what's his name? What's his name? The new guy, the new president. I can't even remember his name.
Wait,
Joe
Biden.
Biden?
He
No.
doesn't. I just
Like,
remember that he can't talk well. That's all I could remember. Like, I don't.
It's
Yeah,
so
I'm sure
funny.
he doesn't. He doesn't actually press the same button that Obama pressed and Trump pressed. He doesn't know. He can't. He can't read the labels under the buttons anymore. So somebody else is guilty for the Yemeni bodies and during his presidency. But we can hang that shit on Trump and Obama.
I'm fairly certain I can make a case for the rest of Biden's 50 years in government office that he probably deserves to be hanged too.
yeah.
He's in compos mentis now. Sure, I'll give you that.
Yeah, 100%. The I don't want my kids to grow up in a racial jungle. That shit, that was fucking crazy. He was
Yeah.
in his 30s when he said that. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
I wonder who he plagiarized that quote from.
Oh god. Yeah, I forgot about that too, with him plagiarizing that entire thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. He did that. What a guy. It is the president we deserve. I mean, we're stupid. We hate each other. We're mean. We think money grows on trees. We get exactly what
For 2022, what better president could we have than the guy that's what? What? That's the best guy. That
corn
sums up what's going on right now.
corn pop.
Corn pop.
Yeah.
It's better than Geodis. I mean, I'm not sure what the fuck Donald Trump would be doing right now to save us. He kind of let everything happen. So
Nothing.
yeah.
The only thing good about him was his enemies. It's not like he knew what was going on or what the problem was. He just wasn't the establishment, and he sort of exposed some of the deepest rot. But it's not like he, had any core principles or ideas or anything.
None, no principles. Stood on nothing. He's the person that locked us down. Fuck that guy. What?
Yeah, true.
Stood on no principles? Wait a minute. You're describing the perfect Republican. Wants power, is completely unprincipled. It's Donald Trump.
Oh God.
Spent more than anybody else prior, except for who came after. So yeah.
So your candidacy sounds exciting. I really hope you're able to get your message out and that it resonates, Darby. It sounds great.
Hell yeah. I'm so hyped for this campaign season and for the time following it. Like, the next 5 months are going to be electric. It's going to be crazy. We're going to be moving around, getting so much done. We have so many candidates doing so much. Because of that split and the fact that I don't have a Democrat running in my district, I have very good odds. But there's people in our state with the Libertarian Party who are very dedicated and they really want to win, and they're fighting hard, and they're going out and they're doing everything they need to do. And I'm really proud to see it. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. We're going to move forward here over the course of the next 2 years. We're going to grow exponentially. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see where the freedom movement's at 2 years from now when it comes to DC. When the LNC happens in DC, it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see how many new faces are there.
I don't have any evidence or any news. I just really hope that the new crew changes it and doesn't make us go to the belly of the beast. I don't want to go to Mordor. It smells bad. It smells bad, and I don't want to catch anything.
I feel you. I've never traveled, so it'd be nice to go to Washington, D.C., see all the sketchy Masonic shit everywhere. It'd be cool.
I got to admit, if we did go, I would take a walking tour all over that place. I'd want to see it all. But I'd rather not go. I'd rather not go.
I feel that. I feel that. You'd rather go to New York City and have your 3 masks on?
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
if we're
know.
gonna go, let's go to Australia. I mean, if we're talking about the horrible places.
Oh God, we're talking about getting beaten with sticks.
We deserve it. We deserve it.
Um,
All right.
Well, I'm excited too. I do think we have some exceptional candidates running, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
so let's talk about the events that we do here locally in Nevada.
Yeah, those are fun.
So what are your guys, how do you guys feel about Freedom Unleashed?
You go ahead, Randy.
I was gonna say it's if you're looking to meet like-minded people and you want to have you can get into some really deep conversations, and you're looking for that sort of connection with people. Those those meetups are really a good way to come into contact with them and to network and everything else. It's
Yeah, I think so too. One of the greatest things we've
yeah.
done in the Libertarian Party is grow the community. Those meetups are just marvelous. There's so many people that show up from all different walks of life, and they all have something interesting to say. And I mean, I even know how many new friends I've made in just the last year or two. Really, really good people, and it's great. It's just great. People should come out to these meetups. You'll meet a lot of great people, and you will not regret it.
100% come out, grab a free book if we have it. We have free books sometimes. Economics in one lesson. I think they're awesome. The meetups that we do, Freedom Unleashed is like our flagship social event. It's pretty awesome. I think the biggest one that we've done was maybe like 60 people, 60 something people. That was crazy. It was crazy to just have that many people who came out. Not everybody's a libertarian, but everybody's interested in freedom. And everybody, like you said, we're building culture and community, and we're building friendships in the valley and across the state. We went up to Reno for the national convention, and we had a social gathering up there with people from the Libertarian Party in Nevada. It was a smaller private social gathering for the for active participants in the Libertarian Party, but it was awesome. We got to see people who we're always working with in the Discord. We get to see people who are actively working to help move forward, drive forward the ideas that we're passionate about. I think that it's beautiful getting to go to those events. And we also have our philosophical discussion night, which happens every other week from the Freedom Unleashed event. So today's Wednesday. That's crazy. I almost forgot which event was happening this week. So Freedom Unleashed, I believe, is happening in 2 days on Friday, and then
that's right.
following that, the week after this week, on Thursday is going to be our philosophical discussion night. Anybody who's interested can check out lpnevada.org, go over to the events tab. They can look at the calendar and it'll say what's going on this week. If you're on your phone, turn your phone sideways and you can read the calendar better. It'll tell you what's going on this week. Our philosophical discussion night, it's smaller. It's a lot smaller, and people can get a lot deeper on those conversations. It gets crazy deep. We have some savages show up. You know what I mean? We have this one guy, John Ketchum, started showing up. He's a wicked smart old guy who taught philosophy at UNLV. You'd show up to our philosophical discussion night. Just likes talking about philosophy. We've got a whole bunch of people. Well, show up. You don't even have to come from a libertarian perspective. I personally am there every single time and would prefer if you don't come from a libertarian perspective. Let's get spicy. Let's have some conversations. Let's find the truth. You feel me? because
Yeah.
that I feel is the nature of our events, is coming in good faith
Mm-hmm.
and saying, I don't want to be right. I want to know what is right. So let's figure that out together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's something essential about our species that we grope our way blindly towards knowledge through conversation. It's not really sitting around reading books or having epiphanies from the great beyond. What we do, what our species does, is we sit around and we talk about it and talk and talk and talk and rehash and think and go home and sleep and dream and come back and talk some more. That's how we get there. And so, yeah, these philosophical discussion nights are awesome. I love them. I'm there at most of them. And yeah, come on out, people. Love to see you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming up here on the end of the time. Is there anything else, Darby, that you wanted to? Maybe you can promote. Well, you did say you had a Twitter earlier, didn't you? You have a Twitter account,
Yes,
or
sir. Yes, sir. At Prod Kill Switch, at PRODKILL Switch. So I make beats and I manage a bunch of music producers, and I mixed up my political Twitter and my business Twitter, and I think that might be illegal. So I'm gonna go fix that. But for now, that's my Twitter. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
All right. Anything else, Adam? Anything?
No, I think it's good. Thanks for coming on,
Okay.
Darby.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, Darby.
I appreciate you guys very much. I love what the podcast turned into. This has gotten awesome to watch.
Yeah.
Uh,
You.
I really love it. I can't recommend more. Everybody who's watching, go watch the Ammon Bundy episode. That episode's crazy. Go watch the Stan Hyde episodes. I like them a lot because you get to learn from the perspective that everyone's coming from, and you get their perspective gets to inform you. And we're libertarians, so we're a lot less wrong than people who are less libertarian than us. But at the same time, I can appreciate where people are coming from, even though they're like okay with oppressing each other. I appreciate getting a chance to hear where they're coming from so that we can better work with their ideas and help them walk down the line to be more libertarian,
Yeah,
to not want to oppress each other as much, you know?
yeah, I think Stan Hyde is great. I was so glad that he ran, even though he got knocked out in the primary. But just having that guy come around our events, and the fact that he was motivated to run from a pure love of liberty, he thought the lockdowns and the mandates were unconstitutional, not befitting of free people, and we get to sit there and cross pollinate ideas, and I can whisper in his ear how horrible the drug war is for society. You know, it's worse than the drugs themselves, and we can go back and forth on that. But yeah, yeah, we all need to talk to each other a lot more and realize we have more in common than we do divide us.
That's got to be my favorite thing about politics, man. Why am I have fuck cops tattooed on my legs. Why is Stan Height talking to me right now? Why is he giving me the time of day right now? Because that's how I led my first conversation with him. I was like, hey, Stan. Oh, you're running for sheriff? I don't like police. I have fuck cops tattooed on me. I don't like them at all. Let's talk about it. And we're able to, just like you said, I'm able to talk to him about like, hey, yeah, this is what happens in prohibition and the war on drugs, and this is why this is wrong, and it causes violence and it causes overdose deaths. And if you care about the children, then you actually want legal drugs. And if you care about our society in general, you care about people going to prison, you care about violent crime, you care about what do you care about? You want more tax money? I don't care what you care about. You get it from legal drugs. So you got to move more in that direction. And it's beautiful being able to talk to people who disagree so heavily.
I don't know, Darby. I just heard you say legalize drugs and increase taxes. I think we might have to kick you out of the party again.
Yo, I can so I believe that there's a systematic approach that needs to be taken. I wouldn't press a button. Like there's that Murray Rothbard quote. If you could press a button and delete the entire government, how fast would you press the button? Or would you press the button so fast that whatever, you get a blister on your finger or whatever he said. And it's like, no, fuck no, I wouldn't. I mean, is it better? Maybe if that's your only option. But if there's two buttons next to each other, if it's like delete government right now, and the other one is delete government over the span of 6 years, where it's
It's only
small.
one. It's only one button, Darby. That's
It's
the
only
point.
one.
That's the
Then
point. It's
you
only one
have to.
button.
I'm just saying. You press that button, and the Earth stops spinning. The the people on the people who are hanging on to the welfare safety net are going to go fucking flying, and they're going to be begging for you to press that button so that the government whirs back up again, and then put a cage around that button and shoot anybody in the face if they touch it again. So I think the correct way is to approach it systematically, where we could fuck increasing taxes. You don't need to increase taxes. You need to reorganize spending so that we can stop funding oppression, and we can even redirect the funding for oppression, redirect up to 50% of it to helping people who are in the bottom rungs of our socioeconomic ladder. Help them. Help.
Yeah, for
That's it.
sure.
That's it. We increase well-being. We increase freedom. We
I
we
gotta take a moment here to defend those of us who would get that blister on our finger, because I would. Two things. First
you
is
don't like homeless people.
I think quite the opposite. I think most of us do care deeply about homeless people, and without the government off our backs, I think in hours, if not minutes, we would create a structure that would help those people that are trapped by our oppressive society, our government-laden society. I think private individuals would come together and sort that out fairly quickly in a better way than it's happening now.
I do
But
too.
at the end of the day, you're right. There is no button. We're not going to be able to demolish the state immediately. It is going to take a piecemeal approach, and that's why I like the way you've laid it out. We get rid of the most egregious stuff first. The safety nets don't. We don't take those away first, obviously. Ron Paul
Yeah,
didn't want to do it, and I don't want to do it either. There's
yeah.
way
Leave.
more oppression. Yeah.
Well, just bring all the troops home.
Yep. That's a start. Absolutely.
Do that. That's $1 trillion right there for the foreign policy that we spend.
Yeah, let's stop. Yeah, let's shut down them embassies. Oh, we got a good amount of embassies we don't need. Oh God, get a bunch of that money back. What else? Oh yeah, we could stop ripping down uh, uh, communities built for homeless people
Yeah.
that
Right.
are
Right.
made for charity. We could stop bulldozing them with tax dollars. That's a thing.
I mean that
It could
that
be.
that just proves my point. I mean, these lunatics that oppress us, they don't. If they saw a private solution was helping, they would have to burn it down or bulldoze it. I mean, then what do we need them for if we were actually helping ourselves?
That's the problem, because the incentives for the state to exist, I mean, like you were saying, I think, was it you, Adam, about the self-licking ice cream cone?
Right. Exactly. Come on, Darby, press the button. Press the button with me.
No.
Come on, Darby.
I like the you'd have like calluses from
Oh
pushing that button
yeah,
so hard.
just one big catcher's mitt of a hand for mashing that
You
button
know,
over and over.
arthritis pushing that button.
I think we're going to do really well. I think that over the next 2 years, we're going to grow. It's going to happen exponentially. We're going to have a bunch of new crazy faces pop up. It's going to be crazy talented people. People so talented that we can't believe it, because it's going to be people in these corporate environments who make buku money doing their jobs very well, and they're seeing the light, and they're starting to crawl out from under the rock of not being politically involved, right?
Or recognizing that either the D's or the R's wasn't a road; it was a cul-de-sac. It was a mistake.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah.
I think you're right. I think we're going to get lots of new blood that's talented and
Yeah, we
nothing but
got
a boon to humanity.
some people who were like sales marketing heads for some crazy like multi-$100 million. Like, we got crazy people coming through, man.
And it's
we
early
got
days. It's
we
real
got
early
super
days too.
smart people.
Yeah.
I'm super excited, brother. I'm super excited, brother. I appreciate you both so much. Thank you for having me on.
Our pleasure, man.
All right. Well, why don't I end the recording here, and then we can talk about the Illuminati and everything else off record.
Oh yeah. Then never know.
Until next time, this has been the Battleborn Podcast.